rooted in which calls of Rotarians to encourage and foster high educational standards in business and professions. The recognition of worthiness of all useful occupations. The dignifying of each Rotarian of their occupation is an opportunity to serve the society. In this vocational service month, it feels immense pleasure to have the amazing Rotary EClub of Ghana and Coimbatore Changemakers for the initiative class of Rotary. I would like to welcome Rtn.Madhanish, considered as the godfather of Rotary 3201, one of the approachable and humble Rotarians which have brought a drastic change in the Rotary Act. So I would wholeheartedly welcome you for the welcome address.
Thank you, Vishnu, for the warm welcome. On behalf of the organizing clubs, the Rotary EClub of Ghana and the Rotary EClub of Coimbatore Changemakers, I am very happy to welcome all of you who have joined for this meeting. As rightly put by Vishnu, we call it class of Rotary, signifying both the classification which each Rotarian brings and also the class each Rotarian brings to this organization. We are very happy to be associated with Rotary EClub of Ghana, which has been doing yeoman services and which has been a lovely EClub. And I'm sure this is the starting point of both of our EClubs joining together and working for better service and leadership projects. So I welcome Rtn.Efua, the acting president and president-elect of Rotary EClub of Ghana, who was instrumental in bringing this meeting together. And I also take this opportunity to welcome President nominee Amma and all other Rotarians of the Rotary EClub of Ghana. Welcome, Rotarians. I also happily welcome our Rotarians from the Rotary EClub of Coimbatore Changemakers. I would welcome all of you, and I would like to specially welcome the speaker for today, who's going to talk about his classification, who's joining us all the way from Canada, Rtn.Madhanish Manoharan. So welcome to all of you. And today we thought, apart from our club Rotarians, we'll also invite a special guest Rotarian. Yeah, we thought we'll invite a special guest Rotarian, and we are very, very happy to welcome and have with us Rtn.Prashant Nagar of Rotary Club of Varanasi Downtown. Rtn.Prashant is a past president and is one of the lovely persons in Rotary who loves to bridge Rotary clubs and Rotary districts. So he's going to talk about his classification. We are very honored to welcome Rtn.Prashant sir for this meeting. And we also take this opportunity to specially recognize and welcome Rtn.Preeta Rajkumar madam. She is the charter president of the Rotary Club of Metro Dynamics, one of the most vibrant Rotary E-clubs in our district. And she's also the coordinator for E-clubs in our district 3201. I take this opportunity to welcome all Rotaractors who are always a most welcome addition to our meetings. And I take the opportunity to welcome guests, particular mention to Mr. Balakrishnan, who has joined us from Tirupur for this meeting. And I take this opportunity to welcome one and all of you again for this meeting. Thank you. Welcome all.
Thank you for the welcome address. I would like anyone to volunteer to tell us more about the club participating clubs.
Okay, so I will take the lead to share about our Rotary E-Club of Coimbatore Changemakers. Unfortunately, our president couldn't make this meeting. On behalf of him and on behalf of all of us at Changemakers, we are very happy to tell about our club. Our club is a 2-year-old club. We were formed, or we got organized on the 24th July 2021. We are 24 of us, all Rotaract alumni brought together, and we formed this E-Club. We have 24 members spread across 3 continents and 6 countries. We are very happy to have this club. We got chartered on the 19th September 2021. We completed 1 year, and this is our 2nd year into Rotary. Our president is Rotarian Vasudevan, who is based in Chennai. He works as an insurance specialist. Our secretary is Rotarian Lakshman, who is also based in Chennai, who works as an media specialist. Our club, we do a lot of activities. We try to do small and sustainable changes. Our name is Changemakers. We do small and sustainable activities, mostly related to schools and educations. That's where we find our calling. And we have two active Interact clubs which we installed this year, and both the clubs are doing well. And very happy to inform you that both the clubs have received RA's presidential citation for Interact clubs this year. And our club, we meet monthly twice online on the second and fourth Saturdays. And we try to carry out as many service projects as we could. We also support Rotaract a lot because we have all been mentored in Rotaract. So we always have a special beat for our Rotaractors. We try to associate them with them for many projects, and that relationship is reciprocal as well. So this is about the Rotary EClub of Coimbatore Changemakers. We are just finding our feet in this huge world of Rotary, and with the help of leaders like Rotarian Preeta Rajkumar, Rotarian CT Tyagarajan, we are we'll surely find our way, and we'll carve a niche for ourselves. So that is about the Rotary EClub of Coimbatore Changemakers. I'll be very happy to hear about the Rotary EClub of Ghana as well.
Thank you very much, Rtn.Madhanish Nagar. I see I wouldn't, because I'm going to speak later on, I would kindly ask or request, we have our PhD Freddie, apologies PhD Freddie, I know this is quite impromptu, but he was one of the instrumental people that put together the Rotary EClub of Ghana, so he's well versed to tell our story here for us. So PhD Freddie, if you do not mind sharing with our counterparts of our Rotary EClub. Yes, the start and all that. Thank you very much.
Good evening, fellow Rotarians. Good evening, President Efua. And sorry, I missed the name of the president of Changemakers, but I duly acknowledge and recognize you. The EClub, Rotary EClub of Ghana, is the first EClub that was chartered in our district. We started the journey about 4 years ago, but we got chartered. I say we because I was part of the group that did the process of chartering and also formation of the club. And I've since been able to stay with them all this while as we go forward. But the main objective at the time was to try and bring together Rotarians who would normally not be part of Rotary because they have moved location or because their office times did not make it convenient for them to join Rotary. And we felt that we're losing Rotarians because of change of location and also convenience of meeting times and venue. So we brought together a number of Rotarians, most of them in Ghana, but we still have Rotarians in the diaspora in Doha, in Dubai, in the US, UK, and Togo, I presume. Now, what we do is that we meet once every week. We meet every Sunday, and we follow the traditional Rotary principles. We have looked at a number of service projects that we are hoping to achieve in the coming Rotary years. The membership started principally with medical practitioners, because one of the key persons that was in the formation of the club was in that area. So we have a number of doctors and pharmacists, but the classifications have diversified now. We have lawyers, we have IT personnel, we have bankers, and many other professions or classifications who are members of the club. Now we're hoping that we'll be able to spread our activities and our influence beyond Ghana and the district, so that we can start collaborating with other e-clubs across the globe, so we can expand Rotary and share service projects and share opportunities and try and make lives better for the underprivileged in our community. So in a nutshell, that is what the Rotary E-Club of Ghana does. And we're hoping that this will not be the last. We'll continue to cooperate with you, and we'll join together with other E-Clubs so we can expand and share opportunities and ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to know about the clubs and hope to have more interactions with you guys. So next, moving forward, Great changes are done by individuals and their true potential is explored through the professions where they challenge themselves and learn. Classification Talks is our opportunity to learn about these professions that shape the world that we see today. Myself, being a software engineer, it feels great joy in welcoming our first speaker, a mechanical engineer turned software engineer with immense experience in solving computational problems over his experience as a software professional at UST. Currently residing in Canada, Rtn.Madhanish of Rotary Club, EClub of Coimbatore Changemakers, to talk about his classification software. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you so much. A very warm greetings to all, everyone in this call, Rotarians from Rotary EClub of Ghana, and Rtn.Prashant Nagar from Rotary Club of Varanasi downtown, and everybody in this call, my own club guys. It's always a pleasure to talk about my profession. And a small intro about me is like, I'm a software engineer, currently working at UST Global in Canada. I've been with this company for the past 9 years, and right from joining as a fresher in this company, I've been at this company. Currently, I work for a US-based client. So that client is a leading manufacturer of socks, sportswears, and they're more into clothing industry, and they do manufacture and sell the products. I have a team of 3 members working in India, and my primary role is to coordinate with the team in India offshore and to interact with the client managers to get the requirement of business for what has to be done in the IT operations, and gather all the requirements, implement the activities, and make sure if any issues are happening in the process, I have to identify that and work for a better solution in that area. To talk about software, I think I have to explain about the work nature of my client, what they do, what are the processes involved in manufacturing. That is a key point where a software is required. So talk about my client, they have a lot of manufacturing units all around the globe. They have in US, in the Latin American region, locations like Honduras, Dos Rios, El Salvador, and also in regions like Taiwan, Vietnam. In all these areas, they have their own plants. And what they do, right from the cotton to make it as a thread, then to a fabric, and to a final product, they do everything. So they have n number of inventories, warehouses. They save all their goods. They have a lot of sewing plants. They make the fabric. They get it whatever cloth they want to make, and finally they have the goods ready to be sold to all the regions across the world. So this is what they do in short, and how software comes into picture is like whatever they do, we create an application for them. So if you say that they have a thread, so we call it as SKU. So SKU is nothing but we name it with a number. So a particular thread will be numbered. So all the thread will be numbered, and these thread will be made into a fabric. That fabric will be numbered, and that fabric will be made into a cloth. That cloth will be numbered. So all these are called information, and this information is fed into different applications. So initially, if a thread is there and it has to be manufactured, we have an application called demand prioritization. That application decides which particular product is required. So they decide like, for example, if a product is sold, one product is sold 1 month every month. In January, say 100 units is sold. In January, in February it's 100, and in March it's 100. Then this application will decide every month it is going to be 100. So it does a demanding. It does the calculation about the demand required, and once the demand is identified, the application will send the information to the next unit where they will start the process of manufacturing it. So they come to know that 100 products is required. So what is the raw materials required? So the thread is required. They have to use a lot of machineries for that. So that they will plan. So that is called as forecasting. And then it will be sent to another application called capacity planning. So wherein we plan like we have these many units of manufacturing industries available. These are free. These are working for some other products. So we identify which machine is free, and that machine is capable of making how many units of product we require. So that will be assigned to that particular machine. And we have separate machine operators, supervisors, QA control in that particular area. They all use this application to identify that this product is now in this stage and what next we can be done. So once the fabric is done, then it will be to the next area where they sew it into the final product. So there again, we have some more application which get the inventory details of all these raw materials, and they make into the full unit of that product. So everything will be done by the machines, but whatever is done, that will be recorded by the software. So all these process, n number of processes there, all these processes are connected with n number of applications. And myself being a part of IT partner, along with 200 people working in UST Global, they support all these applications. So these applications are deployed in a lot of servers, remote desktops. So these are all interconnected. So data has to be fed from one particular application to other particular application. We call it as an interface. It's just like a postal system that we do through computer. So instead of mails, we direct them through data driven tools, and all these sections will be interconnected. So ultimately, what is the advantage of making everything into software? Is like you don't need to go into the manufacturing unit straight away. For example, if the CEO of my company wants to know about the performance of a particular good, how many units of the cloth is sold, or what is the current stage of manufacturing, they don't want to go to the plant directly and see what it is being done. They can check in the application. They can check like the final goods list. They can verify that whether the product is ready. And if it is not ready, they can just backtrack and all the manufacturing process, right from the thread to the final product, they can identify where this particular unit is stuck. And then they can talk to the supervisors who is there. They can talk to them and get that ready. And also it helps a lot for the reporting purpose at the end of the year, how many products we have manufactured and what is the current revenue standpoint of the things, that how much revenue we made. So that also we can track. We have separate applications for that. So we'll have all the profit related details there. And this is what we usually do. So ultimately software makes everything easy to get the information, to plan things, what is required for the future, and to make the best profit out of it. And that's overall of what we do here. I think I summarized it so fast. So any questions you can ask in any areas?
We'll have the questions after all the three speakers, Madhanish, but it was a lovely and typically Madhanish.
I just wanted to add everything, so I had to go fast, a little bit faster. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah. Thank you, Madhanish.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rtn.Madhanish. Thank you for the wonderful insight to the world of software. Next, I would like to welcome the Charter Vice President and the President-elect, specializing in the world of analytics, who likes to work with humongous data and find meaning to it. Rtn.Efua of Rotary EClub of Ghana, to talk about her classification analytics.
Ma'am, I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Hi, hello everyone. Apologies. I'm having this presentation from a coffee shop. There could slightly be some form of noise on the background. Do apologize for that. So it seems this is a 6-minute talk, so I'm going to try as much as possible to do it in 6 minutes. Please let me know if you can see my screen. So as I was introduced, Edugan, I'm a performance analytics specialist with MTN Global Connect, precisely in the wholesale mobility team, where I oversee the performance analytics of our wholesale business, so roaming, interconnect, signaling, CNS, whatnot, right? But just to sort of help us all understand, because in telling you about what I do, I also need you to understand what exactly data analytics is, because that's what the caption is, right? So there's a journey when it comes to data analytics, and there's the associate data analyst, there's the data analyst, senior data analyst, the lead, and the principal. Currently, where I sit is the senior data analyst space, being a specialist in that regard, right? And the, of course, interconnected professions in the data scope. So there's the data analysts, there's the data scientists, data engineers, business analysts, and BI analytics. So what I currently do as a performance specialist or as a market management specialist is I I do data analysis. I do a blend. If you know, there's a correlation between that, or more like interchange into business analytics and BI analytics as well, right? So I'm not just interpreting this data. I'm not just cleaning this data and interpreting them and visualizing them to make business sense. I'm also creating insights to that which are helping the business to make key or relevant decisions, right? So when you talk about the data space or what I work in, it's important to me on my day-to-day to understand the whole data ecosystem. Of course, because of time, I'll try and wrap up very well. So it's important for me to understand the end-to-end when it comes to data. So from where it starts to where it ends, and that is what I do. So in my daily role, it's important for me, or what I do, I need to understand where the data is coming from, which is the data source, up onto where the data is put into visualization and then presented in beautiful, visualization using tools like Power BI to give the business insights, right? So the first stage, the data source I work with sometimes are interconnected, sometimes they are independent, and sometimes they're continuously evolving. And so, of course, with the help of our data engineers, they've been able to extract the data, a copy of the data from the data source into a data depository or a data warehouse, where I would go in there using a programming language or a scripting language or a query language like SQL to extract this data either into Excel format or CSV format, and of course plug this in into Power BI to make sense out of it. Okay, so there's the extraction, the transformation, and the loading stage. So essentially, it's important for me to understand this. So the data source, of course, is integrated with various data systems are integrated, and of course this is plugged into various analytical tools, and so it's important for me to be able to employ that. So I employ various analytical skill sets to create or generate insights from this data, right? And as I mentioned, I work with our data engineers. So I'm working with my data engineers, who is an external party. I collaborate with them to ensure that the data that has been extracted, in terms of the completeness of the data, it's meeting the standard, right? And of course, I'm employing tools and applications, as I mentioned, of course, in terms of the data engineer ensures with the terms of the storage, I do a bit of the processing or like extraction, the transformation, the loading into all of these insightful visualizations, right? So just to like understand again what I do as a data analyst, as a performance specialist. My role currently, or what I do on a daily basis, is I do descriptive analytics. So I work with voice traffic, I work with voice revenue. I have another colleague who works with SMS, where we interchange all of the time, right? And in my processing of the data, in trying to make sense out of it, I'm trying to understand, or the business is trying to understand what happened. So there's instances where a day I would extract the data, load it up, and in trying to make sense out of this data using all the tools that I use, I realized that there could be a drop in voice traffic. Again, working the fact that I work in telecoms, there could be a drop in voice traffic. So that is a descriptive analysis where I'm telling the business what happened. Providing insights to the business to understand on a daily basis in terms of voice traffic trends, what is happening in that space. Now, once I've done that, it's important for me or the business to understand what caused it, and that's what the diagnosis. So currently, what I focus on in my role or in my current occupation is the descriptive and diagnostic stage. This is primarily on a day-to-day basis. This is how I put together, I make sense out of the data to tell the complete story of what is happening and why it happened, to sort of inform the business on what is happening currently, why it's happening, and what kind of measures, or prevent measures that they can take to sort of like enable that it doesn't happen again, right? And so that's what currently it is. So on a typical day, as I mentioned, I work primarily focus on voice daily, extracting the data, plugging it into Power BI. I've got visualizations in there that looks at the daily run rate. It looks at, compares the day on day traffic trend, whether or not it's dropping or not. The weekly one, you typically on Mondays, I will look at the weekly run rate to see in terms of the week on week growth or decline rate, what is happening. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am, hear me. Is this the slide still on the first slide, ma'am? Is
it? Okay, so I'm on defining data analysis. Are you on that?
We are still on the first slide, ma'am.
Oh goodness. Okay, sorry. Let me reshare. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, now it's perfect. Thank you.
So, okay. Because of time, I would have loved to just run through, but okay. So this is what I spoke about. The journey in the data analyst, in data analytics, right? The professions that correlate in that space, and of course, I went onto the data ecosystem to explain, where the data source in terms of end-to-end understanding the end-to-end of data, the source data up until where you create insights from the data. And then I was here telling you about what I currently do, which is descriptive and diagnostic analytics. So I'll give you a typical example. So as I mentioned, we're a wholesale business. So we enable, we're more like the carrier services, right? So we work closely with the other operating companies. So Rtn has about 17 operating companies. So we work with all of them, okay, all 17, but in Asia and in Africa, primarily in Africa. So we bought one of our service centers stationed in Ghana currently, and they handle the network data aspect, so the network analysis, right? So in terms of network connectivity, understanding the the answer seizure rate, the call answer ratio, and all of that, they handle that. Where I sit currently, I just know in terms of the traffic that are coming in, the revenue that are coming in on a daily basis. So I do the descriptive part of it to understand what is happening, on a daily basis. And of course, I use their network analysis that you've done as well, which is essentially the traffic airline, to understand if there's a drop, for instance, for Ghana. We have our customers who are calling into Ghana, or people are calling into Ghana, right? And the traffic dropped for a specific day. There's so many reasons that could actually be the cause of that. It could be a system issue where CDRs, when I say CDR, I'm referring to call data records, did not load for that day, right? They were extracted, but in the extraction process from the data source onto the load into the data depositor, there was a problem there, right? It could have been a change management thing. So in terms of the time it's been scheduled to run, it failed. So there could have been that instance, right? There's also an instance where there was a network challenge, and those in Ghana are quite familiar with that. There's a network challenge, someone is trying to call you in and it's not going through. So that it's sort of like, that is an insight, or that's a data or an insight that actually can explain, a diagnosis that can explain why I'm seeing what I'm seeing in the descriptive analytics stage, right? So that's what currently I focus on, and I employ the use of SQL, as I mentioned, to query the data, to manipulate the data. I also employ the use of visualization tools like Power BI. In my previous role before here, I was using Tableau and Excel. So here, of course, I'm using a lot of Power BI, which is such an exciting tool where it gives you the opportunity to do so much with your data and to create, very realistic analytics and then insights for the business to use, right? So currently this is what, and of course there's the predictive analytics and the descriptive. I'm currently not focused on much on predictive. I do subtle predictive analytics using single line forecast or time series forecast to sort of like, predict how we're likely to end the month, or how we're likely to end the year. So currently for now, it's usually at the end of the month because our space is not, it's not very, budget space. So do subtle it. But then in my previous role, which I will share here, there was a lot of predictive analytics that were going on. So I never focused on Python. I had a colleague that focused on Python. I focused on R, where we use, the test and training data set, the 80-20 rule, sometimes the 75, 70-30 rule, where you have a trained data set and then test data set, and you employ the use of R to sort of like manipulate or learn or teach the trained data set what to predict how the outcomes would be like, right? And so that is what I'm hoping to do in the coming year for this year. So primarily that is what I do at the moment. Now, just to give you a snapshot of what again I do or what happens in my role, on a daily basis or ad hoc moments, or should an issue happen, it's important for me to understand the problem statement, because in data analysis, you don't want to be at a wild goose chase or just be running in circles. You need to have a clear problem statement. I need to have a distinctive, understanding of what you're trying to achieve, right? So when I joined the business initially, they were doing quite a number of analysis, right? But it wasn't a proper, should I say, diagnostic analytics or descriptive or diagnostic analytics, right? So at the moment, we know that we have data. We've got all of these data sources, and we have all of this various variables in there. We've got voice traffic, we've got revenue, we've got SMS, we've got CNS, and all of that. And what our problem is at the moment is that we want to be able to monitor closely the trend in that space. And what we're trying to achieve at the end of the day, have a proper descriptive and diagnostic analysis in place that can help us make informed decisions. And so here's where I come in and look at the data set, and I realize that, so it's just giving us basic visualization of tables. And we can go a step further by giving further insights in there, so there's an Excel with all of that data in there. Unfortunately, we don't have a comprehensive data warehouse that sort of like has accurate data, which is something I'll talk about later on if the time permits. So of course, using this data and of course leveraging on already what someone else has done, I created insights in there, right? I transformed this data, loaded it up, and created insights in there where we're able to now monitor on a daily basis what the trend is like. So I pick a partner, right? So for instance, Orange EE UK, and then MTN Ghana, MTN Nigeria, and I'm able to tell on a daily basis, whether or not compare previous traffic, and then current traffic, today's traffic, to compare, try and see whether or not we are growing on that level or we are declining. And of course, whenever there's a decline, there's a reason to it. It could be a fraudulent activity. It could be all kinds of, all of the, explanations I gave you. It could be a network situation, it could be a system situation. And so of course, working or collaborating with other stakeholders, I'm able to make sense out of that and then present to the business that this is what happened today, or this is what happened N-1, so this is what happened yesterday in comparison with the day before, or this is what happened this week, the week that just ended in comparison with the week thereafter. This is what happened. These are the drops, these are the growths we've seen so far. And these growths are actually fraudulent because in the telecom space, there are a lot of fraudulent activities that happen. Aside, most people are more conversant with the SIM box fraud, for instance, but there are so many other fraudulent activities where people will spike up traffic. We'll see an unusual spike in traffic because there's someone sitting somewhere directing traffic that's supposed to come in to say, MTN SA is redirecting that traffic to Spain, or is redirecting that traffic to Malta, or very obscure locations that you know from the behavior of your customers, there are not going to be any calls coming in from there, or there are not going to be any calls going into that space, right? And so all of this put together, understanding what is expected, of course, setting the clear parameters, as I mentioned, the KPIs, the day on day, the week on week, whatnot, and of course, gathering all of this information, cleaning the data set. So I mentioned to you that currently we don't have a sort of like a proper data warehouse space with well laid out tables for us to use, and essentially that is because there's a bit of data integrity in there. So in my role, or what I do, is it's also important to ensure that the data I'm working with has integrity, because this data that I'm working with is going to inform people once I have transformed and visualized it and created insights of it. It's going to inform the business to make decisions. And so it's important, it's imperative that this data is of quality, it meets the standard. And if you remember, I mentioned earlier on, I work close with the data engineers to ensure, in terms of data completeness of the data, which is essentially comparing the copy of the data that has been extracted from the source to ensure that it matches. And even if it doesn't match, in terms of tolerance level, there's an acceptable tolerance level. So it could be 1%, depending on the business, and then what the agreement has been, right? It could be 1% or lower than that. And that's when we said, okay, the data that we're working with, in terms of margin of error or whatever, is it's clean data. It has, in terms of quality standard, it meets that quality standard. And so of course, it's acceptable to take any decisions based off of that. And so that happens in the cleaning stage, and that currently happens in my role as well. Our colleague in the software engineering mentioned applications and reporting, right? The analysis stage employs that. So application, the Power BI tool like this is a tool, right? It's also an application, right? There are other applications that we use, for instance, interconnect building applications or softwares that we use, which is plugged into, either we manually extract the data from there, or we plug it into a data depository. And then of course we would extract the data from there using SQL, right? And so, in terms of reporting, as referencing what my previous speaker mentioned, we employ that, and of course, using all of that, interpreting the results, evaluating all of the analysis and all the circumstances that hold, and of course, presenting these findings to business, to showing clearly what the situation is, and of course, how it impacts the business. So in summary, I think I've gone past my 6 minutes. In summary, my role is to inspect, clean the data that we use to drive the insight, look at the correlations between the various data sources, and then, in terms of diagnostic, different data analysis that have been done, and try and make sense out of that by visualizing that to, create insightful information or decision making, inside information for decision making, right? And it's important for me, what I said currently, to ensure that I have great understanding of data management. Maybe data management might be a bigger scope, but especially when it comes to data quality and data analysis, it's important for me to have an understanding of that, the end to end. It's important for me to have experience with, when it comes to Excel, writing of queries or using query languages, and of course statistical tools or visualization tools like Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense, and whatnot, right? And also being able to be a good storyteller, because you can have all of the information, at hand, but if you're not able to translate that into insightful storytelling, to tell the story of what is happening, why it's happening, and what can happen in the foreseeable future, you're not doing what is expected of you as a data analyst or a BI or business analyst, right? And so that's what I do in my role, which of course helps the business to sort of like understand the past performance, and of course understand, sort of predict what is going to happen, of course take decisions on how much resources they should make available, what kind of pricing models they should employ, in terms of any other, if it has to do with manufacturing or production, as my colleague mentioned, how many goods or services they should put into the market, which would in turn help them boost up their revenue or sort of like maintain the revenue at a certain baseline. These are all the things in summary that I do in my role. Thank you very much, and apologies for going beyond the time.
Thank you so much for the wonderful insight into data analytics. And thank you for letting us know how data is bringing a change and meaning to the world. Next, I would like to welcome the popular Rotarian loved among Rotaries for the immense participation and support. He is currently the exporter of carpets and rugs and is leading the industry for the past 15 years. I welcome Rtn.Prashant of Rotary Club of Varanasi downtown to talk about his classification exports. Over to you, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone. First of all, Rtn.Madhanish sir, Rtn.Efua, President of Rotary Club, EClub of Coimbatore, Rtn.Madhanish ji. Thank all the Rotarators. I thank you for everyone for having me here speaking about my vocation. Basically, we are from Varanasi, and this belt is composed of, we make handmade carpets. We are selling to US, to Europe, and we make all the rugs in nearby areas surrounding, sort of village areas. These are from Bhadoi, Mirzapur, and it's a very popular belt. This belt is around 90 kilometers of radius, and all these rugs are being made over there. Now, the process of making a rug is very, it's a very classical, and it's a very nice process where human labor is involved a lot. To make one rug, you would be surprised that it employs 100 people together. Now, it's very strange to understand how to make one rug, why 100 people are required. Because it's a teamwork, it's a team effort. Now there's a one rug which has to be woven, and that for that rug we need the yarn. From the yarn stage, we have people who makes the yarn. Then we need people who dyes the yarn in our required colors. So we need human labor into it. Then we need weavers to make the rug, to make the warps of the rug, to spin the yarns, to make balls for weaving purpose. And then we need finally very good artisans who can really make the rug based on the design which we give to them. They make the rug, and it takes around 20-25 days to make a 1 5x8 size of a rug. Now these rugs, when they are made, now this goes into a washing process if required. It depends upon what kind of quality we are making, and it also depends on where and how our customer are requiring for it. So in this washing process, again, another set of human people are involved in it. Then we need after washing, we need to dry these rugs, then finish these rugs. We need to bind them properly. Then there is a cutting process of the pile, where you cut the pile in a regular pile height of a length. So all these processes involve a lot of human nature, and I think so. Making one rug needs a lot of human touch to it. And we sell all these carpets. We sell mostly to US. Our 60% of the business is done in United States. We sell to clients like Anthropology, Crate and Barrel, and from wholesalers like Dash and Albert. So all these are very big clients over there in USA, Canada. They buy rugs from us, and we sell to them. We have a lot of social responsibility towards our society also, because we have a strict we have a very strict rule that we don't employ any child labor in our business. We take very much care about this fact. We ourselves, not our buyers, would like that there's any child labor or any forced labor involved in making any of their products. So we maintain a very high social responsibility on this aspect. Other than child labor and forced labor, we ensure that each of these people who work with us, they are equally paid, whether it's a female or it's a male staff, all are equally paid to in there, and we make a proper records of all these actions which we do. Other than that, we take care of about the surrounding of the building. All the buildings are intact. We also inspect each loom center, because the looms are spread across village. So we have our own production team. They have some quality control people who visits these looms. So besides managing the quality of the product, they also manage how the rugs are being made and if all the social responsibilities are being done at the center or not. Further, we try also to make sure that our rugs are made of the good quality, and we sell them at the very best prices to our clients, so that they also can sell these rugs in the best possible prices to the end customers. And the end customers, when they have exhibit, when they put the product in their home, they are very beautifully done. So this is basically a process which we do. Mostly we make hand knotted carpets, hand tufted carpets, and flat woven rugs. So all these are different qualities of rugs which we do make in Varanasi. Apart from that, we make some cushion covers, we make curtains. So a person who needs to furnish their home, we all make all those products from in Varanasi. So I need to share you a small video of the rug making process. So it's a 5 to 6 minutes of video. If you allow, can I show you about this? Yeah, thank you. Just a second. Sorry, I need there's some problem. The sharing, is it shared? Hello?
No, sir, it's not shared, but your co-host, you can share. And let me check a moment. Are you able to? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think so. So this is a proper village in Varanasi, in Bhadoi, where the rugs are hand knotted rugs are woven. Actually, all hand knotted rugs are woven in their homes. It's not like a factory oriented business. It's a purely cottage based business. So here we give work to the ladies at their homes. When they are free at their homes, they spin the yarn and they make some balls of these yarns, which help them in the weaving process. So this is the kind of ball which I was selling about. This is the weaving, how hand knotted rugs are being woven. There are different qualities of hand knotted rugs. I cannot go in detail into it, but this is a hand knotted, pure Indian hand knotted rug which is being made over here. So the weaver ties the yarn and cuts with this knife. Okay, now this is another quality of hand knotted, where we put one thick rod, and the weaver ties yarn with the help of rod. Now, once this is done, he beats the rod, and the pile goes along with the carpet length. And then with a knife, he is cutting the yarn so that it can be made into a pile. This is how we stretch them, because when the rug is being woven, the size it tends to there's a bowing effect on it. The rugs aren't straight, the designs are not very straight. So we stretch, and with the help of the rod, this is a pure cutting of the rug, where we cut the pile of the carpet to make the design clean and little embossed of look. This is a washing process which is being done over here. And this, when the rug is laid, now all these washings are done in the village near to their home, so that the people, they can stay at their home near their farmlands, because these people, they work also in their farmlands and also for making of the rugs. So after drying, after washing, the carpets are dried. In the washing, we put little bit of soap element also, so that any dust or any impurities are there in the carpet, that also goes away. This is a making of a hand tufted. This is all which we discussed was about hand knotted rugs. Now this is a hand tufted rug. Here, with the help of this machine tool, we insert the yarn into the fabric, and all these things are done purely by human touch. With human touch, with lots of skill involved in it. So different colors are being used in different areas. We make a map of what the rug is to be made. The map is besides the weaver always. So he checks where we have to insert which yarn, which color we have to insert. Also nowadays, with good technology, we print the design onto the fabric itself, and we mark those colors and mark those yarn quality, so that the weaver is very clear where we have to do. So this is the latexing process which he was doing. This is a latex which binds the fabric and the yarn together, so that it doesn't pull off. So this is a yarn final carpet which has been just woven. So this is a very unfinished kind of rug. Then we have a finishing process to it. Okay, thank you. So I first of all, I thank everyone, and I also thank my customers who gave us a lot of opportunity to serve them, and behalf of my all human staff, like my weavers, my finisher people, my dyeing house, we always thank our customers, and we always tell them that you are doing a great work by employing so much of human labor into it. And you, with one rug, we serve 100 people, we fill their stomachs, we give them employment, we give them money, we take care of them socially also. Thank you. This is all about my vocation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing us to the world of rug making and showing us the wonderful town of Varanasi. Next, I would like to request if there are any few questions to be asked, please do ask.
Maybe Vishnu, I would like to take the lead. I would like all the three of them, whether is it possible to, I would like to ask Prashant sir, did you consider the possibilities of data analytics and software for your lovely cottage industry, sir?
Data analytics I have not used, but we use software. We have an ERP software where, as Madhani ji said, we make list of yarns which we are there and how much of yarns are used in the production of one carpet. We take a control of the inventory with them. Also, we have a software for order tracking, dispatch tracking, and quotation of rugs. Like we need to send a lot of quotations to our clients. Basically, we have a very new software which has come in India now. It's a SourceWiz. Like it's a little competitive with Madhanish, but I really wanted to tell you about the software. It's a very nice software. It helps us to upload all our images onto the cloud data, and from the cloud data we can make PPT. We can make presentations on a PPT format or an Excel sheet format, and we send these formats to our clients. So the things which we needed to do takes 1 hour to sort out the images, to make the Excel sheet or PPT, we can do it within 2 or 3 minutes maximum. So we use a lot of software into it, but yes, the data analytics is not there in our field till now.
Thank you, sir. And we really like the way you employed this work from home technique, which IT people use nowadays. And thank you, sir. Nice.
Yes, it's a lot of it's a purely cottage-based industry for us in Varanasi, and these people, they stay at their home. They do their home work also. Even the ladies, they work in the home, and the gents, they work in the field. Maybe in the morning they go to their field, they do their agriculture work, and in the noon they come to their home to make the rugs, and the evening again they can switch on to their any agriculture work or any other thing else. Thank you.
And I think I would like, we have a question from Mr. Bala. He is asking, is it source web? Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's a source web.
And I would like to ask Rtn.Efua as well. Rtn.Efua, for the past 2 years, there has been a great sprout in data analytics studies as far as Indian students are concerned. In our city, Coimbatore itself, we had around 600 to 800 seats added to data analytics just this academic year. How long do you see this field gaining prominence?
Sorry, you said how long do I? Hello?
My question was, how long do you foresee data analytics being in the heart of things?
Being a part of sorry, the background is pardon me.
No problem. I was just mentioning we have a lot of craze for data analytics for the past. How long do you foresee this craze for data analytics? When will it get saturated?
I don't foresee that. It would evolve rather. So if which you're aware, of course, there's the last 5-6+ years, data analytics has been like a booming space. Everybody's interested in that. I might have mentioned that I don't have a computer science background. I learned on the job, right? I don't have a computer science background. I have a business admin and economics background, right? And I employ that in this space. So it's going to go on, but it's going to evolve. Just like any other thing is going to evolve, where we have the machine learning and AI coming in, which we saw chatbots recently, where people have the use would ask chatbots what chat GPT, sorry, what certain things are, and then it'll give them information or insight, right? And so I see it evolving rather than it dying down. It would evolve where the human component will probably be slightly withdrawn, and we'll see more machines, or AI, artificial intelligence, taking charge of the whole end-to-end process, where perhaps it's only the human, the wholly human aspect will be to sort of oversee the whole operation, because with AI and ML, it has to go through a lot of learning stages or learning cycles till it can actually be work on its own. And so I don't foresee it dwindling. I just see it as evolving. There'll be a time where it will evolve, and it's already happening already. I think Rtn.Madhanish can attest that it's evolving every day. So that's what I believe strongly would happen in the foreseeable future. I hope I answered your question right.
Yes, I just want to add my point as well on that. Definitely, data analytics is going to be the future. And to make it simple, if a pregnant woman is buying something in Amazon, say she's buying something which is very evident that it is going to be when she's buying it at 8 months when she has a baby inside. After 2 months, the same company, she buys at Walmart, at Amazon or Flipkart. After 2 months, they show the product of babies, toddlers, what they want. So they know that this lady is buying the product at 8 months. She bought this thing, and after 2 months, she is going to be recording that. So this is data analytics. So the chains around us, they're going to interconnect everything. So what this particular person is going to buy at this particular time. So they're going to analyze everything with whatever data we are providing, or they get that from all the sources they have. And this is going to be a very big industry, and we have to be conscious on as well on that.
Yeah, and to add on, I think currently it's happening. You search for certain things on the internet, and the next thing you know, you're getting prompts in your email, or what's it called? I've forgotten my internet marketing, but you see all of these pops up on the web browser when you go in, because it's using your behavior, right? The behavior of the consumers. You're looking at all of those websites you visited and some of your Amazon, purchases or your noon purchases, and it's sort of like trying to understand what your next behavior would be like, which is all data analysis, right? What your next behavior will be like. So just referencing what he said, for instance, you probably are expecting an expectant mother. You've been looking at baby diapers, you've been looking at baby carriers, you've been looking at all of these things on Amazon or on Google. It picks up all of this information because it is tied to your email account, right? So it picks up all of this information. So immediately you make a purchase, of course, in future, it'll be able to predict what kind of consumer behavior you anticipate. It's kind of like anticipate what you like to purchase. Okay, you're pregnant now, you're looking at all of these, and okay, let me start recommending these items to you. Sorry, I'm not very familiar with baby stuff. Although I'm female, I'm not. All of these baby stuff, once the baby comes in, probably you'll be looking at toddler stuff. So it will start predicting, your behavior. And of course, all of these are all data analysis. So as I said, it would evolve where it becomes more intelligent to be able to predict what you'll be doing, to be able to give you, sort of tell you what it is to be before it even happens. So it's going to really evolve, and it's going to be very exciting. Not to say jump on the bandwagon, but if you have the opportunity to jump on the bandwagon, jump on it. There's so many courses out there on Coursera, on Udemy, on YouTube, etc., LinkedIn Learning that you can learn, and then of course jump on the bandwagon, because it's going to be really an exciting future.
I would agree, Efua, like when we search for something, for some kind of designs also on the Google, everything pops up 1 or 2 days later. I see more different designs on the basis of what I have searched a day before. and suddenly, or also sometimes even when I'm looking for some topic or maybe from a flight ticket. Suddenly I search on one website and suddenly I start to get message from different websites that I can give you rates of this maybe Varanasi Delhi flight. I can give you more better rates. And also my I would like to tell my clients, they use a lot of data analytics because they are retailers and they need this data to understand what the customer is buying, and based on their analysis they give purchase orders to us. So in some way we are benefiting a lot with data analytics. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for the insights. Looking forward to how data analytics would change the world. Next, I would like to request Rotarian Preeta, District Coordinator of EClubs from Rotary District 3201 to say a few words about the event.
Oh, thank you, Vishnu. Sorry, I think my audio is not great, but I want to say, it was so wonderful to be here and to see your club organizing this. Kudos for Changemakers for many more success stories, and it was so wonderful to hear about from all three speakers, three very different fields. Thank you for having me here.
Vishnu?
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Vishnuji.
Yeah. Yeah, had a network issue. Thank you so much. Okay. So thank you, ma'am. Bidding an end is difficult, but it paves way to something new. I would like to welcome Rotarian Emma Amono, President nominee of the Rotary EClub of Ghana, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, RP Vishnu. Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening to everyone in India. I'd like to say a big thank you. I've actually put my video off because I realized that when my video is on, I'm unable to hear most of what is going on. So I hope everyone can hear me now. Okay, so thank you so much for this good opportunity. I mean, it is a great collaboration between the two EClubs. I want to say a big thank you to our speakers, Rtn. I hope I've mentioned it well. Madhanish, for your insight into software, Rtn.Efua, as well as Rtn.Prashant. Thank you so much. I mean, they're really insightful. Although they're very different classifications, you can actually see the similarities in them. So thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who asked questions and contributed. I'd like to say a big thank you to both Rotarians from both EClubs of Changemakers and EClub of Ghana for attending, and visiting Rotarians, Rotarian Heavy, PAG Freddy, as well as our visitors, our guests, and our retractors. Thank you so much. I hope this is not the first and the last collaboration we'll be having. I hope this will be, there'll be more to come, and so that we can learn more from each other. So I'm saying a big thank you to everyone for taking the time to join the meeting, and have a good evening and afternoon, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much. Back to you, Rotarian President Vishnu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will hand it over to Rtn.Madhanish for closing.